resume.
I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Meeting has been duly called. Appropriate notice has been given. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Before we start the pledge, we have our choir students. Mrs. Proctor, could you?
This is Symphony Fox is going to. This
Come
is
on
Symphony.
in. Symphony. Would you lead us in the pledge this evening?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Give us just a couple minutes here. At this point in the meeting, we got our public comment section. I did have 2 sign up, but I did have one that said you're good, correct? Perfect. And then, so the next person would be Nicole Hobbs. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Oh, of course. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm here because I'm part of the PTO, and we started a new type of fundraising event this year. We allowed the seniors to sign up and paint their parking spot. They're all finished with it, and our parking spot looks beautiful, and I'm just here to invite all of you board members to come and check out our very artistic seniors, because they did an amazing job.
I pulled into the parking lot, yesterday morning, and at 4:30 in the morning, because I was running on the track. I was like, this is fantastic.
Isn't that
It
awesome?
looks great.
Oh my gosh, we've had kids do, mini golf. There was one that's a bunch of different shoes. He's on the football team. One's like SpongeBob SquarePants, where it says 4 years later, class of, it's pretty cool.
Creative.
We're very excited about this, and we really feel like it's gonna grow, and it's gonna be a good time.
Looked great out there.
Come and check it out.
Were your art students involved in doing the stuff on the square?
I'm not sure. So these weren't even art students. These were just seniors.
Oh, just in
yeah,
seniors?
these were just our seniors, the
Yeah.
ones who wanted to. I think we had about 13 of them this time sign up. So
So do you feel like it's going to be a fundraiser that grows, that you'll end up?
I feel like it. I think especially because we're hearing the juniors are getting excited, but it's that sophomore class that's really
that's
starting
right.
to. Oh yeah, they're the ones who are just like, yeah.
Great.
That's pretty fun.
So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda in the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda in minutes.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous? Now, on to our choir students.
Ms. Proctor.
Mrs. Proctor. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. So today I have our Mountain Home High School Chamber Choir here. My name is Tori Proctor, and I'm the director for the junior high and high school choir here at Mountain Home. We serve about 130 students over 6 choirs between the junior high and the high school. And this group here is our most advanced ensemble, and they showcase the highest level of musicianship that you can achieve in our program. This group is made up of all region members, all state members. We have some national honor choir members as well from last year. And this group has really just made me proud every step of the way. Miss Russell and Miss Dewey came to our concert recently, and we were very happy to see them. And so we will be singing one of our contest pieces for you this evening, which is The Road Home by Stephen Paulus. We'll use this to go to our competition later this year in February, and hopefully to state as well later this year. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
I'm Symphony Fox. I'm a senior and I'm soprano 1.
My name is Andrea McInnes. I'm
I'm a junior and I sing soprano 1.
I'm Brandon Munson. I'm a senior and I sing tenor 2.
I'm Sutton Matlock, I'm a junior and I sing bass too.
I'm Lena Quinney, I'm an alto 1 and I'm a junior.
I'm Haley Simmons, I'm a junior and I sang alto 1.
I'm James Michael Dellis. I'm a sophomore and I sing tenor 1.
My name is Jade Taylor, I'm a sophomore and I sing soprano 2.
My name is Aiden Burns. I'm a junior and I sing bass 1.
My name is Piper Bone and I sing alto 2 and I'm a junior.
My name is Madison Venturi, I'm a junior and I sing soprano 2.
My name is Aiden Lane. I sing bass 1 and I'm a junior.
My name is Kinley Brown, I'm a junior and I sing soprano 1.
Wow.
Well
Good
done.
Amazing. Thank you for that. That was,
That was
wow.
incredible.
You guys ever sing the national anthem? That would be great.
So really, I mean, this group, a lot of these one I've had since like 9th grade. Like Symphony I've had since 9th grade, and she's a senior now. Alyssa, like a good number of my seniors in here I've had. So I mean, it really is, it builds up over the years in our program. I mean, especially when we get to magical time, there are countless outside hours. We have our community dinner theater, which is like a Renaissance-inspired, medieval-inspired dinner feast that we do in the end of December. So we're also preparing for that. So these guys have got about 20 songs-ish that they're learning right at the moment. So yeah, hours after school, they show up for volleyball games to sing the national anthem. Really, I mean, the dedication and the hard work that this group has shown and leadership. Because even they showed up without me at a game one time and led it on their own. So it is truly remarkable to get to work with this group every single day. And every year our program grows and gets a little bit better. And
It was the largest choir concert, and I know it was a sampling from so many
Yes,
different
ma'am.
groups, but I drove up and I was like, wonder what's going on here. And guys, it was packed.
this is the biggest it's been in
It was packed.
quite a few years.
It was
I think. We
so
had
wonderful.
130 at the same
For
concert.
this specific group, y'all had
Yes.
tryout? Do you have to try out to be in this group?
Yes,
I'm
this
sure.
group is our top auditioned ensemble, so they do have to learn a prepared piece, which is our national anthem, what we sing every year.
Okay.
And they also have to be able to sight read as well, so they do that all by themselves, and that's preparing them for things like all-state auditions, where they also have to sight read, national honor choir auditions, regional choir auditions. So really, this group is fantastic, and a lot of these, I tell them, probably go on to college and sing as well. Because you don't have to be a music major in order to get scholarships, just to sing.
So
And
after you
groups-
audition for this
Yes.
and you're selected, then is it scheduling or do you practice after hours? Is there a chamber choir hour at school in your
Yes, we
class
do have
schedule?
one that's scheduled during the day.
Okay.
We will have some after-school rehearsals for national anthem commitments. This group sings volleyball games. They sing at different community events. So we have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony as well. That's coming up right before the Christmas parade this year. We're going to be singing Mary Did You Know, which we're excited about for that. So if you want to come out and see them, that'll be right before the Christmas parade at the For Security Christmas tree lighting ceremony. So yes, we do have some outside rehearsals, and this group definitely does have to do the most of it out of all of our choirs, because this really is kind of our flagship ensemble that we take out into the community as much as we possibly can.
So next year for the Mountain Home Education Foundation Night of Honors, this would absolutely elevate it to another level.
Absolutely.
I'll get the date to you
We
real soon.
have to.
It's
That's what I love about
fantastic.
these guys. They love to go out and perform and just showcase their music for people, and it just brings all of us such joy. So we appreciate you having us here today.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Amazing.
Wow,
Thank you
what a
all.
treat.
Well
Yes,
done.
it was.
Congratulations.
Did not expect.
I will say this, we had our leadership meeting right after Miss Dewey and Miss Russell heard Dalton Dunbar. And Mary Beth, I don't wanna speak for you, do you wanna say what you told us at leadership?
Well, I'm texting her, I'm not gonna lie, during the performance. Because I'm there sobbing.
So I don't cry.
Me too.
And like something like dripped on my hand and I like looked up and it was like a tear. It was just so beautiful. It was, I mean, y'all just, which I hear them all the time, so like, I
But
get
to see him on stage.
I do,
to
but it
see
was just,
people-
it was, and this is just 9 weeks of y'all, with this particular group together. So this isn't, you know, a lot of them haven't seen in a while, but this combination, there's just something different about this particular combination is just magical. So, good job.
Incredible.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much.
Any other questions for our flyer?
Come back anytime.
Maybe we were just talking about maybe Christmas time, we'll sing some Christmas carols.
Please.
Wow.
Please make a
I
financial
have one of my
report.
students from my mentoring class up there. I'm so
Pretty
proud.
excited.
Yeah.
A couple of these kiddos were mine from elementary school, so I'm proud of them.
Some were mine as well.
Yeah. So it's fun to see them and they're all here. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you, we appreciate you having us tonight, thank you.
Thank y'all. Good evening.
Oh, I can say, because I had chills all over.
Great. Okay, Miss Lawrence, you gotta top that.
Not sure the data's gonna be quite as much.
Dad, gonna move us to tears?
I like that, but.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Our kids are doing some amazing things, so that's, and our teachers, like just what they are able to do.
Pull out of them.
Pull out of our students like that is amazing. So, okay, I have a pretty short, I don't want to say a little kind of shorter, report tonight. We're gonna focus on some math tonight. We're gonna take a little look at our iReady beginning of the year diagnostic. And we've talked a lot about where we're seeing things, so tonight we're gonna switch a little bit. Our, all students grades K-7 are doing our iReady math curriculum. And we've had this, this is our, I think our 8th year to have this adoption for our district. And it was a pretty easy decision to continue with it when it was time at the end of the 6 years to make a decision. So what we do is we do our diagnostic at the beginning of the year. And what I showed you tonight is just building by building what that piece looks like at the beginning of the year. So this is not gonna be a growth comparison quite yet, but I will tell you that we do look at, like I can tell you the numbers that come in per building are within 4% on every measure of how we did on the beginning of the year placement last year. So that is kind of a good piece to look at. So our students take this is a diagnostic on the current school year. So that's why you're gonna see not a lot of green. So what this shows you in kindergarten is we do have a small population of students that came in ahead of the readiness level for kindergarten math, but most of our students are yellow, and they can't be 2 grade levels behind yet in kindergarten, so you're not gonna see any red. But if you go on to Nelson Wilkes, you'll see that changes a little bit. You'll see the spread there. The other piece the slide shows you is the placement by domain, so you can see the 4 categories that they're testing in, and you can kind of see how the numbers play there. But we show at Nelson Wilkes, we still have that small population that are showing a little bit of beyond readiness, and then we have a lot right there. If they're 1 grade level behind in 2nd grade, they're testing 2nd grade diagnostic. So they're right where you would want them to be. They're right at that prime place to take off. And then if we're showing that they're 2 grade levels behind or more, that's where we know we have a little bit of work to do to try to keep them on grade level readiness projection for the year. So looking at Hackler, you'll see, again, the numbers are broken down for you there. By the time they get up into the older grades, you're gonna see a little bit more red, but we also do have a lot of intervention pieces happening for those students. And then our last building to do already is Kingston. And so you'll see their beginning of year piece there. So what the teachers do, obviously their tier 1 is starting on grade level, and then the students do my path within iReady, and that is based on the diagnostic data. So that they have like an individual pathway that is designed for them, and they work through that pathway throughout the year while also doing tier 1 instruction that's on grade level. They also have RTI pieces. Every building is doing that a little bit differently. In the older grades, a lot of times they do priority weeks. We talked about that a little bit with you guys before. Hackler's doing Thursdays and Fridays as math intervention. Nelson Wilkes is building it in more into their math blocks. So we're still working out the schedules with some of that. So, and then kindergarten is doing a lot of point in time, because kindergarten is trying to kind of decide what their needs are. So our next slide, I did want to show you something new that IRD is doing, so I think this is really cool. We actually participated in a correlation study last year. We were one of the schools they asked to participate. So the TOSAs and I compilated and submitted a lot of data to turn into iReady. No names of students, it was just numbers. But what they did is, by collecting lots of different pieces from lots of different schools, they were able to do a projected proficiency piece now. And so what they're doing is showing you what a projected proficiency marker will be for that student on Atlas, which that's our Super Bowl. That's what the state is measuring us by. So the state isn't asking how did your students do on iReady, they're asking how did your students do on Atlas. So what we're needing to know is the curriculum we're using preparing our students appropriately for their end of year assessment. So this is a pretty neat example. If you see how this is coded on the key, you can see the colors, level 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you remember, any student that scores at level 3 or 4 on Atlas is considered proficient in that content area for that grade. So we're trying to get all students to level 3 and 4. And if you look on the right side, it explains the projected proficiency. And that typical growth means if you didn't really do anything above and beyond, that's going to be your typical growth projection for that student by the end of the year. So what you'll see with this particular student is if they do typical growth, they're going to be up in the category of a level 2, but it's a high level 2. So what does that tell us as an educator with that student? We are very, very close to getting that student to proficiency. So if you look at that gray dotted line, what iReady is showing you is if we do what's called stretch growth with that student, then look where that student ends up. They end up at a level 3. And it doesn't take a whole lot extra to push them to that next level. And so that's what our teachers are doing within their collaborative teams. We actually had a rep come and speak today with all our math teachers recently, and the rep is just making sure that their questions are answered about how to use the program. Anything new within the program like this, the rep can kind of just coach them and how to use the new reports and pieces. And then just make sure our new teachers are aware of how to adjust those pathways. If the individual pathways are too easy or too hard for the student, maybe they're making 100s on everything and it's just super easy. Well, that means they didn't try as hard as they probably should have on the diagnostic. So it has them too low, so they need to be adjusted so they have a challenge in the pathway. Vice versa, if it's too hard and they're not passing anything, we need to adjust that so their pathway is working within their deficit area at the right level. So that's what the teachers are constantly doing. They're trying to adjust the pathways and adjust their Tier 1 teaching to meet projected proficiency at the end of the year. 2 other cool things, if you want to go to that one more slide. I just wanted to show you a couple of things that are readily available to our teachers. Look how many options, iReady incentives, these are pieces built in. Our teachers can use this any way they choose within their own classroom. And then we won't play it, but the second link on there is an Elevate lesson. They have a new iReady Pro for our middle school students, and that might be something interesting to watch. It's like a minute and a half. But it just shows how they're adding some extension within the program for middle school students. And I did, talking to some teachers, ask what are you liking about it this year? What are you using the most? A couple of things I've been told they love. They're using the comprehension checks that are now built in after every lesson. And so what they can do is pause. There's like a five question quiz they can give. They don't have to do it every time, they don't have to do it every day, but if they sense their class might be stuck, they can offer this quick little 5-question check. It grades it for the teacher. They can see immediately how their classes did on that skill that they taught that day. The other piece they're really liking is they have a digital practice piece now built in, and they can pick that based on the lesson they're teaching, and those digital practice models are looking very similar to what they're doing in Atlas. They're even doing like digital graphing and some things like that in there. So our teachers are starting to pull some of that in, and it's just kind of some cool new features. for our students.
So is My Path utilized to accelerate those students
They
that are?
can,
above?
so if they're above grade level, their path is still moving them through.
But the teacher sets it, or is it
So
adaptable?
the program sets it, it does an
Okay.
automatic placement. So like if a teacher doesn't do anything with it, that student's just gonna track based on what that BOY diagnostic is.
Sets
The
for
reason
them.
we ask, and why our teams are looking at that along the way is just to make sure that, you know, you don't need to do 20 lessons, you don't need to do a My Path. They do keep an eye on that. And our teachers check it throughout the year, not just at the beginning, to make sure their students are performing at the right level.
But the stretch growth, is that actually a
So
set, something they can set for?
There's a way to kind of analyze their stretch growth within here, and they recommend if you can move, the research shows if you can move a student through to their stretch goals, then they are going to grow in the end of their, after, I can't remember what year in I-Ready, but it's 2 grade levels. And so they can, it really does make a difference. So instead of just being typical growth, they're gonna, if they're, let's say they're behind 6 months, they're, you know, 2nd grade, halfway through the year, they need to be at 3rd grade, a stretch growth goal can, instead of just getting them.
But they can go in and set a pathway for that child, something.
I don't know if it's that
set
they're
for that
setting the
child.
pathway, but they are setting the growth goal that would be a stretch goal.
That would be a stretch
Yes.
goal, so they're going to get
And,
what they
and they
need
can
out
talk
of
to
the program.
students about what that
off of
goal
My
would
Path.
be.
Okay.
Like they can show them if they want individual student report on there and say, hey, look how close you are. And then they can talk to that student about what it would take to get them to that next level. Depending on the age of the student, what they're trying to do. But, yeah, the stretch goal piece, when we've had training with the reps, they're very, excited about talking to the teachers about the stretch goals. Any other questions about My Ready Math?
No, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Moving on to financial reports, Ms. Conner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We'll start with the statement of changes in fund balance for the month ending September 30th of 2025. We ended the month of September with $13,321,021.24. As compared to September of this time last year, this balance is down $443,768. I wanted to point out a couple of items. Fund 2218, I'm sorry, is our declining enrollment. We receive our allocation at the beginning of the year, and we have utilized some of that allocation. It reimburses, but typically it's not gonna reimburse till spring, so you're gonna see that hanging out there
Negative balance.
till about February or March. Then if we look at Fund 2260, we have a negative balance of $72,902.70. Typically, we get this in one lump sum, and we would have already gotten it by now, but they have changed how that they give that, and they now give it in installments monthly. So we're gonna see that running in negative until it catches up. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the next page. We have the statement of changes, or statement of revenues and expenditures and changes in fund balance. We had total revenues for September of $3,042,288.96, with total expenditures of $3,949,560.10.
Any questions? Moving on.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is our operating fund balance tracking for funds 1, 2, and 4 all combined. We ended September with a balance of $6,558,578.63. This looks considerably different, and I wanted to point out that we did go ahead and pay for the Guyberry roof out of the operating fund, and that was $396,000 out of that, with the intention of trying not to bother our building fund and looking at towards the end of the year to see if we needed to adjust where we have that expenditure. So it did do a number on that balance, but I wanted you to be sure and know what part of that cost is. Another thing is, the Fund 2, all the Fund 2s combined, if you looked at the first statement of changes, all of those two funds would come up to about the rest of the difference. So that, I wanted you to know where that $700,000 is.
Thank you for that.
Well, yes, because it's a little bit startling when you look at that.
Yep.
But it is something we plan to reevaluate at the end of the year. It makes it a little bit difficult for you to watch the trend on this sheet, the way that we did look at it. But with things as tight as they are, we wanted to, not touch that building fund if we can work it out in other ways. But it's certainly something we can look at the end of the year and make adjustments at that point.
Sure. Ms. Cowder, this is for September, so all the federal monies are here. With the ongoing shutdown, does that affect us getting the federal monies during like month of October or not? Or do we know?
They feel like our Title I is safe, and also our Perkins dollars. I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Gwen much, I haven't had a
We're
chance
good.
to talk to her, but I think we are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good on her.
I mean, I have no
On the
doubt we'll get it,
special
I just didn't know if
ed.
It's coming,
If
yes.
it's- if you still get it during the month or if it holds up. Okay.
No, we've
We've been
pushed
getting
it.
it, yeah.
Okay.
But they were very last minute notifying us that we were going to get it, so we were kind of wondering
Yes, ma'am.
and
Okay.
hoping
There we go.
that it all came through, but so far, so good.
Thank you.
Mhm. Last, we have the changes of statements and activity funds for the month of September, and we ended the month with $561,912.46. And then you have the system reports to follow that support these documents.
Okay. Any questions? Thanks, Leah. Moving on to an enrollment report.
Yes, your total enrollment is 3,659 students, and that is down as expected. Following trends as we have over the past couple of years, as far as from September to October, by losing a few students. 3, I think. We lost 3.
Okay.
So, but that's actually fewer than we lost this time last year, by a couple, so we'll take that. It's definitely concerning, and definitely something that as we move through the year, we'll continue to watch. We'll continue to look at preschools and kindergarten enrollment, and we'll be making some staffing decisions just based on those numbers, because we know that's what we'll have to do if, as far as just moving folks around or possibly teaching something that they're not used to, but looking at retirements, things like that. Just attrition.
Through normal attrition.
Just attrition.
Yeah.
And that's the plan as of right now, for sure. We're starting to hear about some retirements and plans for the future for some folks, and so that helps us think about where we could not refill positions.
Any questions on the enrollment report? The student transfer issue?
So, this is, I'm gonna try to say it exactly like our student transfer guru Jennifer told me. It's 5 in and 5 out. However, We're actually positive 2, and here's why. 2 have never been ours. They were homeschool students already, and they're going to go to another school now. So we never had them on our enrollment. And then one of them is a student who they moved into town, but they'd already been a student at Cotter, so they went back to Cotter. So we're actually ahead by a couple, because we had never had those kids.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any questions on the transfer update? No? Okay, Mr. Knight, facilities report.
Alright, so, the roof at Guyberry is finished. Last Tuesday, the architect came in, did the final walkthroughs, got on top of it, made sure that they had done everything that they were supposed to do. He then, sent me, the pictures that I attached here, if you guys wanna go through it. And basically just an email saying that he has verified that, it's all good and we can give him the final payment. So that total of that roof came out to $687,165.39. 19,000 was when we talked about, we added some of the plywood up on the roof, and then there was around $2,000 of just little tiny damages, that we ran into, had to do. So,
Overall, that project came in significantly lower than what we had.
yeah, so remember we had budgeted and the state was giving us a little over $1 million for that. So we're gonna take that price, the state will come do a walkthrough, they haven't been scheduled yet. They'll verify that we did it, and then we'll take all the architect costs, engineering costs, these costs, send them the bills, and they're gonna give us roughly half. So you're gonna be at a $300-something thousand roof.
Nice.
And it's beautiful.
It is so pretty.
Look at
Oh,
that.
that's just.
Those pictures.
It looks pretty good. Now we gotta fix the steps, cause the steps look ugly.
They did fix some concrete, and somebody fixed the concrete in front.
We did, they did run over a piece of concrete,
So it looks, but it was already kind of
and
crumbling.
it
so
cracked with
it looks
machinery,
good.
but it was on us, there was a leak underneath it, so it was our fault, so we just worked and fixed it.
It looks really good.
Y'all have any questions?
Not on that.
Looks so nice.
Thanks, Chris. Next technology update, Mr. Mendelewski.
I'm Steve.
Hi.
There's Steve.
Glad you could make it, Steve.
Thanks. So Steve and I are kind of splitting up the tech update. He does all the really important stuff and I just do all the teacher stuff. But I wanted to update you all. I know, right? Like he does like I don't climb on the ladders or anything like that. He does all that. Yeah. But wanted to update you on student Chromebook usage because that was something that we had talked about last year. So there will be a monthly report that we'll be able to share with you all, but I wanted to just share a little bit about September and specifically highlight Hackler. Kristen or Miss Goodwin took this to heart last year and really embraced what was going on and how do we ensure our students are utilizing technology correctly, and flipped over the coin. So Hackler went from teachers and students being able to go to websites that are appropriate, we're locking it down, and they can only go to websites that we have allowed as academic websites. And so the usage for the students has dramatically shifted, and super proud of those teachers and those kids for working through the kinks, because of course you get to your lesson and you're ready to do something and your kids go to the site and it's blocked. So it's super fun, but I've almost gotten really good at unblocking things on GoGuardian. I just forget a couple of the things. Another really neat feature that I was able to find out as I was poking around in GoGuardian is we can also look for the top YouTube searches that kids are doing. So from that, we've now layered in another block that they can no longer watch YouTube Shorts. It's kind of like TikTok on YouTube. Didn't know that was a thing, but that's now blocked. So it is an ever-evolving process that we keep learning, but really excited about the changes that we're seeing. And if you go all the way through the grade levels, the top websites are all academic websites, which is super exciting. So wanted to share some good news with you all. And then let you know that the tech committee is still alive, and we have scheduled our first semester meeting for this year. And one of the things that we're going to ask the tech committee to help us address is looking at our curriculum adoptions, and not the big curriculums like iReady and things, but it's something that maybe a teacher would see. For example, there's one called Gizmos that is a science-based curriculum. Since the beginning of the school year this year, Keith and I have done 9 of those. And it's like the difference in a Hyundai and a Ford. They're all very different. Oh, good auto reference, right? It is super time consuming to go in and make sure all of these things work. So asking our teachers, how can we get this process so that you have what you need, and so that it is streamlined, and that we are ensuring that we are giving our kids the most appropriate opportunities to be successful. Continuing our AI discussions, we actually met with the English department at the high school last week. One of our sites that has been used for a long time is called Grammarly. I don't know if you've heard of Grammarly, but basically it is a writing checker. So if you were to write an email, Grammarly would go in and say, oh, you've got 3 or 4 run-on sentences, you spelled this word incorrectly, blah, blah, blah. It's now added an AI into Grammarly that will write it for them. So the English teachers were like, hello. So we were able to meet with them. They came back with some different ideas. Hey, let's look at this site. So now Grammarly is blocked. So it's just a constant communication and evolving practice of ensuring we're teaching our kids how to use these tools correctly. And then just continuing that screen time discussion and what does it look like for all of our kids and our students, and how can we make this process better than it is today?
Have you noticed a change in the screen time usage?
Yes. In every building there is a dramatic change. And I will say, I have talked with Katie. Katie is the counselor at Nelson Wilkes, and she has taken this on very seriously as part of her role. And she said, Becca, it is absolutely amazing to walk down the halls and see what we're seeing. Even with our first graders who are on iPads, so we don't have the ability to track that as much as we do a Chromebook. She said it's just remarkable, just bringing it to their attention and showing awareness of, hey, let's see if we can shift this a little bit. I would say in every building we're looking at major improvements.
So I do have a question.
Okay.
On the AI thing. Ms. Dewey would be disappointed if I didn't ask.
Okay.
What are we doing proactively to teach students how to ethically, morally be prepared to use AI as they enter the workplace? If we're gonna make them workplace ready,
right,
they're gonna graduate in May. In June, they may get hired for a job and they can use AI.
So we have a couple of restrictions just because of the company. ChatGPT is not allowed for anyone under 18,
Okay.
nor is Gemini.
Okay.
Google has said 18-year-old and under cannot use this. So at the beginning of the year, and with the tech committee's input last year, we came up with 5 different platforms and sent those to teachers that said, here are the things that this one does, where students can get in there and work, and it's appropriate for students. I met with a high school teacher this week. He said, hey, I want my students to be able to take my notes and use AI to create a quiz. What platform do I need to use? So we walk through it together. Our English teachers are using it for some of the editing software and like improving writing. So it is just, it's really chasing a rabbit. Is kind of a hard thing for us to understand, but it's just taking the ones we know that are okay and that are safe and teaching them how to harness the capabilities of what's within each of those platforms.
Okay.
Anything else for me?
Okay, that's a good question.
Okay, thanks guys.
I try.
I didn't know those sites were, you can.
Having her knowledge and the teacher background in the technology department is probably the best thing that's happened to technology anywhere in decades, because she understands how to work with teachers and stuff a lot better than technical people do. Some tech updates. One of our big E-rate projects for this year was some fiber projects. So we ran new fiber to the bus barn. That was a really old one. I don't know if you remember, it went through the old preschool building to the old maintenance department and back up, and that had failed years ago. And So we've got transportation on a new fiber. We were able to do the McLean Park, the baseball fields, and the high school press box as an annex because they connect to the high school property. So we were able to run fiber to those. McLean Park was on a wireless bridge across from Hackler, and then the press box was also a wireless bridge. And both of those sites, that equipment was aging out to where we were gonna have to replace it anyway. So we were able to E-rate fiber very affordably and just have those on fiber. The indoor baseball complex on Wade Street never had anything. There was no internet over there or anything. So we were able to get an internet circuit put in there that connects it to our network. So we were able to put new cameras in there, put that building on the access control, so that, you know, all the custodians, anyone who uses it, we now have online access to update that. If a new volunteer needs access, we can do it from our desk, and they're good to go. Before, it was drive over there, get in the closet, climb up and manually put stuff in for that to work. And we also put Wi-Fi over there, and we have a phone over there now too. So having that facility, you know, online with all the rest of the buildings is great. So we can see what's going on over there remotely and everything. So the security camera projects that we did last year with the state security money, those are all complete. Our new camera totals are about 416 cameras in the district and about 38 recorders. So, and we maintain all of those issues and stuff in-house. So it saves a lot of money, and but several of the buildings have the new camera systems in place, and they're great. So since we haven't met since summer, or haven't had an update since summer, all the classroom phones have been completed in all the buildings. So I'd say 99.9% of all the classrooms have a phone in them that teachers can use to call out, office can call into, and then as the intercom systems fail or die at buildings, we can switch over the bell system and the intercom system right to the phones. So that's kind of all in place for down the road. So we got the Chromebook employee back this year, and that is just, you don't realize how much work that one person does with all of our Chromebooks. Martin has logged over 400 repairs this year, which is awesome. It's about 200 over where we were last year, but a lot of them weren't getting logged last year because we were all doing Chromebook repairs everywhere for the last year and a half. So just that it's consistent, and you know, we can really see some good numbers. We can see repeat offenders, you know, and deal with those appropriately. It's been great. So what has also helped that is we've put the Chromebooks at Pinkston back into the classrooms. The kids do not carry them around anymore. So if they need them during the class, they go to the cart and they get them kind of like it was before COVID. So that has been a game changer for screen time too, because the kids aren't on them in the hallways. You know, they're not sneaking them home at night. So it's been, and repairs also have been very minimal there. And they are new Chromebooks, so that helps also. But I think the teachers have really liked that too. They're not having to track down the lost Chromebooks all the time and all of that. So we also we're doing the ACT digital option now for all the ACT tests throughout the school year. So this really isn't like our school thing, but we host that test. So we are providing devices that are all set up for the digital test on that, and then there has to be a technical person there each Saturday for those tests also. So it's been a great option. We had one test last month, and there was a little rough to get started, but we figured out what needed to be done, and I think this Saturday is the next test. So we've got 46 slots actually for the online session. So it's kind of a nice option to have. So that's it. Any questions?
So
A lot of
just
work.
to even add to the importance of this, Ms. Dewey arranged for our Hall of Honor people to go into the schools this year. And our alumnus, Clifton Rutledge, he's been CEO of several companies. He's now CEO of Shipley Board of Directors. And he spoke to the marketing class. And we were talking Thursday night after he had been to that marketing class. He said, kind of unbelievable. What their marketing class looks like was nothing compared to what my high school marketing class was. And he was just commenting on the changes and how we're working to stay caught up with what the workforce needs right now. So I thought that was a pretty big stamp of positive work that you do. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's, I feel like we're always behind it just a little bit, but we're not.
Not as far right behind as you think,
Probably
no.
not.
Ahead of, education's just changed.
Yeah.
It has just changed.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you.
Action items, facilities plan, Mr. Knight. Back again.
Yeah. So, this is not something new. The schools always has to have a master plan that is roughly our 6 years in the future. We add to it and remove from it every single year. If you guys have looked through it, I don't want you to freak out, especially if you're new. Just because it's on there doesn't mean you're going to do it. It's a wish list. If you want to get it funded or allowed to do it, we have to add to it and subtract from it and put those on there. Well, every 2 years, it is required to have board approval of the master plan, and also have an hour for the public to come in if they would like to do a little Q&A session with it. So that's why we did the 5 o'clock today. So I think that's about it. It's pretty much exactly the same one we have had every year. And there are a couple of things that I can think of that we might add to it later on this year is the junior high gym air conditioning. And I know you may not want it, but I've kind of been told that they are funding those pretty heavy, and I've already paid for the engineering stuff to be done with that during COVID.
So this plan helps with the, I'm gonna say, the partnership funding process.
Yes, but also there's a lot of stuff on there that facilities wants to know about. You're not gonna get funding for. Anything that's not educational, if there's an athletics in there at all, it's not happening, you know. When this roof gets replaced, we may have to put it in there, but you're not gonna get funded for it because it's not academic. But it has to go in there. They wanna know the square footage, they wanna know, about our buildings, so. Do y'all have any questions?
Do a discussion? I make a motion, we approve the master plan as presented.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion?
You know, to your point of, hey, this is a wish list, if it's not here, remember we used to have tennis courts on here. I noticed tennis courts aren't on here.
Cool
but-
tennis courts, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's felt like that's ever gonna happen. I know you like tennis, right?
Yeah, I do, but. I just
And
haven't
here's the other
noticed.
thing, and I don't know why we have this, I think this is mainly they want us to do this so that the public is reminded that we do have this. If you want, if tennis courts, if that
Oh,
comes
gosh,
back
yeah.
up in 6 months, the way it was, before, sad.
Yeah, it was just the point of, hey, it's a wish list. We probably would never have gotten to the tennis courts, but it's on there.
Yeah, we used to have a bridge down there.
We figured out that.
Yeah.
But we, you know, when Lisa was on the board, her
We won't
thing was paving that down there or graveling the extra parking. So that's down there on the baseball
Yeah.
field. We've talked about changing the rusty old fence around the football field for
It's on.
10 years now, 8 years now. So it's on there, but
Sure.
we'll get to it when it's important.
There's a good narrative there about the district for if anybody else wants to kind of read how many students where, what, so that, it's good to have it out there. Thank you.
It is yeah, I thought that was really good.
And we're up a few students from September 24th, when I gave her these numbers. That's positive. It's only a few, but it's a few.
So like all those renovations, like the installation of the standpipes, are those considered academic or are those those would be, where are those, that's academic,
Academic space.
It's going to be, but I
Academic
really
space.
doubt you're gonna get
Okay.
funded on that, because those are the things that we're going to, so they fund almost everything that they fund on is what they call it warm, safe, and dry. If you need a roof, if you need some air conditioning, you're probably gonna get it. Something that they may fund would be if we build a new building. I really doubt you're gonna get standpipes and lights and things like that probably right there reimbursed. So,
Okay.
we're always gonna try.
I was just trying to understand the difference in the spaces, because that roof covers,
It's still
Some
academic,
areas,
but it's
yeah.
not really under that warm, safe, and dry,
Yeah.
because we're adding basically fire safety
okay.
lights and walkways.
So like these playgrounds, things like that, that's
Yeah.
considered non-academic, even though it's
Non-academic,
good.
But it's on there.
Interesting.
And we started, we had a plan that we wanted to do, and I have them, I've got the drawings and the renderings of them already. We did Hackler, we were gonna do kindergarten, we were gonna do Nelson Wells. And they are getting older, our playgrounds are getting older,
Oh.
and they're starting to fall apart, and it's.
It's looking bad.
We almost did kindergarten, but the city made a new rule that if I had like 1 square foot of concrete or pavement, we had to put water retention in. In order to do that, we had to do water retention for the bus barn, which is huge, and you ended up like tripling the cost of that project to put that in, and it just was a nightmare. So we got put on hold. But they're still in there. So. Supposed to storm this weekend.
Guy Berry's not gonna leak.
You know,
It'd be a good test.
the PO was in, I was thinking about it, the PO was in, the check has not been cut, and I thought, well, this will be the weekend to see if,
See if it works.
maybe
Guy
I'll get
Berry's
nailed till
not
Monday.
supposed to leak.
Yeah, they do have, facilities requires a 20-year warranty on those, so.
But we need a good rain to see if it's
I
done
would
right.
recommend
right? We
a
need-
really good one.
We need a good rain, period.
Except that all the other ones that leak, we'll have to go clean up.
Yeah, if you could just make it rain.
Just, well, actually, it did that once, that's why the roof wasn't
Yeah,
on, it
well,
only
that's
ran
right.
down very low.
Got a little wet, didn't it?
Okay, you got a
They dried
motion,
it up.
second, any more discussion on this?
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible for since there was very little discussion about the master plan from the board members, is it possible to take just a brief comment from a citizen?
Yeah, I'll give you 3 minutes.
It won't take 3 minutes.
Yep.
May I step? to the-
Yeah, that way we can get it recorded, that way it's in the minutes.
And again, thanks for visiting with me earlier today.
Mhm.
And I was happy to be here today and listen to the discussion about the facilities plan. Since there wasn't much, I just want to reiterate my concern as funding from the state dwindles, as I understand it. The burden for any facilities project, the Big Top, the high school, or anything, will ultimately be passed on to the taxpayers. And I just want to reiterate my concerns that as this process goes on over 6 years, I understand it, that by the time we get to where the rubber meets the road and a decision has to be made how to fund the new high school and the Big Top and on, that the ultimate burden is going to fall on the taxpayers.
It always does.
Pardon me?
It always does.
That's our job.
Well, I just want to make sure that's loudly heard.
Mhm.
And I appreciate it, Jason, thanks.
Thanks, Hap.
Best I know, the money the state hands out is not their money, it's our money. It's the taxpayers' money. So it always comes back to the taxpayer.
But a lot of what this document helps us do is exhaust every avenue possible before going to our taxpayers. You know, that's where that partnership money comes in. So this is just one step in a direction so that we can grasp at anything to get some of these projects taken
I
care of.
appreciate that, Jason, thank you.
Yep.
I'd like to kind of add to that, when you go through and you look at this facilities plan and you go to the different buildings in our district, And just reading through the narrative, how all of our buildings have evolved and how, mistakes are made, sometimes in the heat of the moment, and what you have provided. Boards in the past have made some mistakes. All of our buildings are aging. I mean, they're just aging. And I'm telling you, I don't want to be taken care of by students who are uneducated or by health professionals that are uneducated. And unless we have safe facilities, and what I've seen out of all the planning that's been taking place is that we're looking at a very practical approach, no fluff, but we as a society have to take care of our future kids because they're going to be the ones who take care of us. Not just for that sounded real selfish, but our kids are our responsibility, not someone else's. So let me reiterate that. We have to take care of our children. That is our responsibility first and foremost. Do we have to buy them, a Corvette? No. But we've got to provide them with a way to make a living and with a way to take care of us in the future. And I personally don't want to put them in facilities that are, I don't want to throw bad money into old facilities that cannot take care of the educational needs or the educational safety of our students. Boy, you heard that choir a little bit earlier. Those kids are able to do that because of what previous boards have been doing. Those kids are able to do that because of our taxpayer funds. We can't do that solo. I can't provide for that choir by myself. But with a growing good community that has lots of good things going, we can provide the utmost, the optimum education for all of our students. And my philosophy is we are as good a district as our least educated child. That's what we are. So let's look each other in the eye, and are we going to take care of our least educated child? That's a big deal.
It is.
Somebody else could talk now.
Our job is to take care of every child.
That's right.
Yep. We do.
That's right, so.
Yep. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thanks, Chris. Ms. Cotter, Ms. Dewey, we have a related party disclosure.
Tonight, I bring to you a related party disclosure with a resolution for Miranda Cotter. Miranda Cotter is an employee of our district, and she has written a book, The Boy with a Flower Eye. It addresses social and emotional needs, which is a common topic in the K-12 environment. And we believe that we will have some teachers that would like to use their $600 to purchase a copy or multiple copies of this book. And so for transparency, we wanted to bring this before you for approval. So the request is that you approve a resolution for Miranda Cotter.
I make a motion to approve the related party disclosure as discussed by Ms. Cotter.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second, any discussion? I think it's fantastic that we
Yeah.
have teachers that are writing books that are being
Thank you. Very
published
cool.
and being used in our classrooms.
Yes.
Anxiously looking forward to reading
I wonder if we can get an autographed copy.
Yeah.
I bet we can make it happen.
As soon as you approve this, we can buy one.
it. You can also buy it on Amazon right now too.
Amazon
yourself,
and Walmart.
so-
Right,
Amazon,
right.
Walmart, yeah.
It's impressive.
So, thank you for your approval.
No problem.
Oh, they have
Any
to-
other
oh, wait,
discussion?
We gotta vote.
Oh,
I was trying to go too fast.
Any other- Hearing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thanks, Ms. Carter.
Thank you for your
I'll send it, I'll write it down for you.
Next item is on the agenda, Ms. Lawrence. Contracted services.
I know, this is similar to what you've heard before. I'm bringing this, based on our Arkansas State Board of Education, that gave final approval to the Arkansas Department of Education rules governing how to meet the needs of children with dyslexia. Since the 2016-17 school year, Mountain Public School Board of Education has invested in many opportunities to develop further training and strategies for teachers and staff. Some of these include Apple Connection, Susan Barton, and District RTI guidelines. For the 25-26 school year, we would like to continue intervention support for grades K-12 and efforts to increase student comprehension and reading skills. The interventionist will provide direct instruction for students in need of additional academic support. And the recommendation is to approve the academic service agreement with Patty Bell as presented. Ms. Bell is a retired Mountain Home Public School certified teacher. So we brought other names before you earlier, I think it was at the end of the summer. And we actually have asked for this approval so she can share the load at the high school with Ms. Rita Williams. And the way the schedule looks is one would be with students in the morning and one would be with students in the afternoon. So we were not sure of the need at that time.
Heard the recommendation.
Make a motion, we approve the recommendation.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Ms. Lawrence. Board discussion. Anybody got anything they want to share?
Got a question.
Okay, go for it.
And I asked Allison this. Can we sell naming rights to the football field?
To the football field? It's already named.
No, the football field, the stadium is Bomber Stadium.
Football field has a name too,
What's
and
it?
it is, you asked me. Am I dreaming?
What good is a name if nobody can remember it?
When it was over to junior
Anonymous.
high, it used to be
Anonymous.
called B.B.
That's
Foster
it,
Field.
sorry, that's what I thought it was still, sorry.
But when they moved it, they didn't bring the B.B. Foster with it.
Okay.
Sad.
I don't even know who B.B. Foster is.
And you've been there a while.
But I would,
Been here a while.
yeah, I would like to see 62 servers or, Ozark Eye service out there, a logo on the football field, paying big sums of money for advertising. Other
Great.
schools are, Harrison's doing it right now, with Garrison.
On their field.
Like on the turf
Or
or?
on the turf. Yeah.
So it's like a sponsorship?
Yeah.
I'd like to sit on science labs. I think it's a great practice.
To that point, and to the topic Mr. Happ was talking about how do we fund this, right? So step one is, hey, let's figure out the footprint. Step two is, how are we gonna fund this? How are we gonna ask? What's the ask? There's a lot of planning still. But when I've been talking to people, I was like, yeah, it's not just necessarily millage, right? There's a lot of options out there,
Right.
and I intend to explore all of those options, whether it's, you're looking at ASU Mountain Home, and every one of the buildings has a name on it, and you go in those buildings, and every classroom has a name on the classroom.
Exactly.
Why can't we do that here, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we sell bricks for alumni with their names on it that I see
Bricks
at our
is not a
college?
good
or-
fundraiser.
Well, whatever, the point is,
We can't
whatever it
even find
is.
the class of 73
Sure.
brick.
So what I've been telling constituents is, no, I'm not thinking, hey, we're gonna put it all on you. Before we ever go to an ask, we're gonna explore all the ways that we can possibly fund this to minimize the ask to our community to actually fund what we need to here as well. So along that note of, can we name the football field? Can we name the stadiums? What can we name? Can we name that wing of the high school? Can we name this? I'm in favor of it, but I mean, these are discussions that are gonna come, but.
With
yeah,
those
so-
naming rights, you gotta be real cautious because buildings cannot be run down and you lose the name. I think you add endowments, but you're
Sure.
talking about a major project.
Sure.
And there is a certain amount, I agree, and we all know, I mean, I'd rather do teaching grants right now than student scholarships, and then nobody get their hair on fire. Those are endowed. A whole lot of the foundation scholarships are endowed, but then you're gonna have to have some dedicated money going into a group of people that are in charge of raising those funds. And then you better make sure that you can keep those buildings up to a certain level.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that, and folks, I want to go back to, we have one of the lowest millages in the state, and that's great, and we need to keep that, and that's what attracts people here. But we also have a responsibility as tax-paying citizens to take care of our buildings. I kind of view the fundraising aspect as that's the icing on the basic plan. I personally think we as a tax-paying community need to take care of our students, and then we find donors who add the icing, who add the extras. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, what my thinking was on the turf was, Mitch, how long does turf normally last? 10 years?
8 to 10.
8 to 10? So as long as, like, if we're gonna have to returf the football field, and you sign them up for 8 years, and then at the end of that 8 years, somebody else can come in and do it. Classrooms would be great,
I've thought that with classrooms for quite some time.
Yeah.
I'd love to name classrooms.
We've set a precedent with the aviation classroom, right? It's named, and there was donations made to name that classroom. There's a precedent here.
Yeah.
Even in our district.
And there are people out there who will put their name on the football field.
Mhm.
They're putting their name up on them high-dollar signs.
And that's what it is. Instead of putting the names on the field, they put them on the signs.
Yeah.
Because that's what the sponsorship people wanted. They rather see it up there than be on the turf.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once that was paid off, baseball, softball, that was built, so that's what the majority, not the majority, that's what the money went to. Once that's done, you can do that, I think, and use those signs to be able to help. Not really help, I think you can pay for it.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Gary Pitts about it last night, and he's on the Bomber Foundation, and he wasn't against putting logos on the field.
And that's, again, instead of putting it on the field,
They put 'em up.
people wanted the signs.
Sure.
And that's why they did the signs.
But if you wanted it named, Donald W. Reynolds Stadium, Razorback Stadium, for a certain amount of years,
So are you gonna change the names after a certain amount of years? That I struggle with.
well, what do you think Razorback Stadium's named right now?
We have Don Reynolds.
Nope,
I don't know.
not there. Time ran out. It's only so many years.
I just know when you talk about endowing buildings, every building over on ASU Mountain Homes campus, that name stays, and they're endowed.
But then you're going inside and you're naming the classroom.
And those names are still named, and they don't go away.
Yeah.
It's named one time, one payment.
But with the turf wearing out, you could come back and.
Well, that's a different story. Yeah.
Look at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, that's the Caesar Super Bowl, and there's Mercedes Super Bowl. And it's
I'm
like
more
they
concerned
changed.
about our buildings right now.
Yeah, but we can buildings.
I want our
You think about
buildings.
$350,000 for some turf, and then you might reconsider. And, I've been talking to different groups about kicking in to help replace the turf. And I've got some pretty positive response from smaller groups. Some were $5,000, some was $500. But every dollar helps. Take the burden off the taxpayers. But I will say this, no, I'll keep my mouth shut. I think that there's a lot of people out there who would be willing to step up and help, in groups, to help do that, the turf.
Sure. I've absolutely heard the same thing. People say, hey, I can't afford much, but I could put my name on the back of a chair in a classroom, right?
Yeah. There's a area down there in the football field now with names on it in the Mitch where.
Well, that wall of pride was there, and then those steps they did before me.
Yeah, cause I remember Janet called me and hit me up for $500 to put my name up there. I don't remember if I paid it or not, but I don't know if she put it up there. But, you know, there's lots of things that we can do that other schools and other districts are doing that we're not doing. And I don't want to become a banner of advertising by any means, but when there's people who have the means to donate money and want to step up forward to do things like that, I think we should entertain the situation.
Pretty sure that the last two times that stadium and that field was turfed, you know, there was a lot of community support behind that at both of those times, correct?
Yeah, and I will tell you, I talked to a lot of other schools with their fundraising stuff, with their facilities, with what the foundation raises to pay, you know, for the baseball, softball. They're raising as much as any schools I know.
Yeah. Yeah, 22 signs at $5,000 a year is a pretty good chunk of change.
So when that's paid for, there may be.
How much longer is that out?
We're close.
We're close. We're done.
This
This is
asked
our
me
last.
that about a year ago, and
We have one more, the district has one more payment.
yeah. So you're coming up on like this year. I would think that's what it is. They usually try to do it in 10.
This is 10.
Of course, we can't control the foundation. They're on their own, actually, aren't they, Mitch? I mean,
Yes, they are.
Well, that's, and I've left some messages for other groups, but, you know, the Youth Football League, I've talked to them. Hadn't talked to Brad Coleman yet with the Gridiron Club. The band also uses the football field. It would be a nice goodwill gesture for all those groups that use the football field to come up and say, hey, we're gonna donate X amount of dollars. That's my thinking. And you know, we gotta get it somewhere. And it wasn't on this master plan.
Yep, it was.
Oh, was it? I thought it was sports, and it had to be.
No, that's still on the plan.
Oh,
It just
okay.
won't be funded.
Oh, okay.
Any other discussion? Moving on to superintendent update.
The first thing is we need a voting delegate for the ASBA conference in Little Rock, December 10th through the 12th.
Okay.
If I remember, generally it's the president, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the president's
Usually.
attending or if you all want to nominate the president.
I'll be there, so.
Okay, so is that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Very good. Congratulations, Jason. Miss Kelly, it's Jason.
Got it.
Got
He's
it.
done it several times.
I think you did it last year.
I did.
I think you did it last, our president couldn't be there on time for the voting. So we had a great week last week celebrating homecoming. Lots of folks, it takes a lot to pull off everything that went on last week. And I was just thinking of a few of the things. They dressed up, there was a parade, there was a pep rally, football game, there was a dance, powder puff, Mountain Home Education Foundation, and Hall of Honor and Athletic Hall of Honor. I think there were a couple of reunions possibly that happened. So there was a lot going on, and that takes a lot of people to make that happen. We started second quarter yesterday, which means we are 25% done with the 25-26 school year. So you can look at, we have 75% more left, or that we have finished 25% of this year. This week is conference week, so we'll have conferences, parent-teacher conferences on Thursday. That means our kiddos go home at 1 o'clock. There'll be conferences until 7, and then no school for students on Friday, and PD Flex for teachers on Friday. Annual report to the public is 5 o'clock in Dunbar Thursday evening, if you want a very exciting evening of report. But we will post that report on the website. It is required to be there, so it is a Google slideshow that'll be available. Monday, October 20th, so this is the upcoming Monday at 5:30, ASBA Region 2 meeting in Yellville. right now I have Scott, Molly, and Marcia registered. If there's anybody else that wants to attend, Ms.
Yes.
Kelly will get you registered.
Yeah, I'll go.
And Jason?
I'm out.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Tomorrow we'll go visit Wes. Devil Day.
It'll be Mr. Henderson's
AED.
place. So Monday, November 3rd, lunch board meeting at Hackler. Ms. Goodwin, are we good with 11:30? 11:30, so there's our time. And then that night at 5:30, Kevin Fott will be here from Stevens for some finance training that you will get credit for as well. ASBA conference, December 10th through the 12th. I cannot believe it's already here. Ms. Kelly, once again, will help us with arrangements for that. Right now, she's got rooms for everybody, but if you can't go, just let her know, and we'll go the opposite direction as far as canceling. And I have some really, really big news.
Yay.
This week, I think Monday, was that into last week? It's all running together. Homecoming was big for all of us. We received a $135,000 COPS grant, and that is going to help us fund a new handheld radio system. So those of you that have worked in any of our, well, the two I've worked in, mainly Hackler and Pinkston. When you're at Pinkston with the concrete, our handheld radios don't work from one end to the other. Same thing at Hackler, they don't work from one end of the building to the other. And this is not only going to correct that, but we're going to be able to use them across campuses.
Good.
So in case of emergency, when cell phones are down, we're going to have a very up-to-date handheld radio system.
Fantastic.
So super excited about that. I jokingly said I'm not sure how we were awarded a grant from the Department of Justice when the government shut down, but we were, so we're going with it. We're going with it. Must have been an automated email of some kind that they had ready to send, so I'm very, very excited about that. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, we'll go into executive session for personnel, retirements, and transfers.